Okay, you swiped right and you matched. Now you have a first date set. Before you meet in real life, there's a new online dating term you need to know about, and that is floodlighting. Oh boy, Dr. Viviana, please shed some light on this one, and it's so good to see you.
I'm going to shed a floodlight on this one. Yeah, so
that?
this is very interesting, and it can happen in really any relationship, but in new relationships, it's a huge red flag. And that is when someone starts to overshare personal details or feelings too early in a relationship. That's a sign that something might not be right, or they might have something up their sleeve. So you don't want to overwhelm your date. So many times we talk about how we might overshare a bit. Let's say you have a weekend retreat or you're out to lunch with colleagues, and maybe you overshare, especially women. We are very, very conscious of the fact that sometimes we need to share in order to feel bonded or connect with someone else. But in dating, especially if you're seeing this in men, I have to say, sometimes it can be signs that maybe they have some malicious intent.
Oh my goodness, floodlighting. Now, a lot of people, okay, I'm a bit confused because a lot of people think it's good to be vulnerable, but why could this be a bad thing?
If it's too early, or if it seems like it doesn't really make sense for where y'all are, if this is very one-sided, then you're either, at the very least, you're overwhelming them. You're overwhelming, let's say you're the one that tends to do this, you're oversharing. You are putting maybe inadvertently pressure on them to share things that maybe they're not ready to share. So it can feel overwhelming at the very least. So make sure that you are connecting on a natural pace. Don't just say, well, I'm going to give it all to you, and then let's just see how you deal with it. The other thing is that it does create that imbalance. If you're oversharing, the other person may feel forced to share, or to say, I'm sorry, but like, I don't want to deal with this, or this is moving too quickly, or I'm not ready to share this stuff. I've only shared this with my therapist. Then that creating that imbalance early on is not going to put you on a healthy footing. It also, unfortunately, if it feels too imbalanced, can feel like it's not very attractive. To have somebody who's basically just dumping all of the things that they've gone through that are way too personal, way too sensitive, it's not like something that most people are attracted to early on in a relationship. Later on, it might feel a little bit more appreciated to give you insight, like how you think and how you feel. But too early is not, it's not sexy.
No, you got to remain a little mysterious, right? A little mysterious, a little sexiness. Definitely not share too much. Okay, but what is a good gauge on how much you should share on like those very first dates?
So I would say that the very first dates, you should be mindful of sharing like important parts of your childhood that were positive. Try to stay on the positive side. If there isn't much there, ask them about their upbringing, what their favorite things are, because those are pieces of information that you can then use now early on in this dating process to shape your conversations, your hobbies, what y'all explore together. But if they're asking like, hey, you know, I've heard, what's you know, your last name? It sounds really familiar. Like, I don't know. What's your mom's maiden name? I wonder if we're from like the same town in, you know, Mexico, or they might be like, oh my gosh, you know, I love dogs. You know, my first dog's name was this. What was your first dog? Do you remember? They're so, hello, red flags. They're just trying to like steal your identity.
Oh my gosh. Okay, are there any conversations or specific topics you should save for later?
So I think later would probably be any sort of child abuse or any sort of sexual abuse, very, very traumatic situations. Most people don't know how to handle that in a loving, supportive way, the way exactly that you need. So it might be giving them too much to carry at that moment. If you are first of all, by the time you get to that date, you should know whether or not they are, if you're very strongly politically inclined one way or the other, and that is a deal breaker for you, you probably should have figured that out before you were on the date. So let's hope that you did. But I would say steer clear up sensitive topics, very controversial topics. Unless you're a good sport or just love to debate in a fun, flirty way, which is not the easiest thing to do, I would stay away from those as well.
Okay, definitely some good advice this morning. Dr. Viviana, thank you so much for being with us today. Good to see you.
Thanks, y'all.
Of course. Okay, you can learn more from Dr. Viviana and get a copy of her book on her website. It's drviviana.com and use the word Coco for 20% off. Follow her on Instagram at Dr. Viviana. We'd also love to ask your relationship questions to her, so send them our way to mycoco@9news.com.